Right, welcome to a back rep of Bretonnia versus Vampire Counts. It's a 2,500 point game of Watchtower. We rolled for the scenario and we also rolled for the terrain as well, just because we think it's the way that the game should be played. It creates a random terrain dynamic, so no one's intentionally getting favoured. Yeah, and we just like it that way. So I'm playing Andy Wood and his Vampire Counts. We've had many a good game in the past, but I've never played his Vampire Counts, so this will be interesting. He said he got them, and I have never faced them with Bretonnians, and I was really looking forward to seeing whether I could sort of break them and win with cavalry against a horde list in 8th edition. We then rolled Watchtower, so it kind of changed the dynamic a bit more, and it meant my game plan going into it was just to try and keep his hordes out of the tower, so I could either just win by being closest in proximity, or actually have a unit, ideally my men at arms, in there and hold it for the game. Few mysterious terrain pieces on the board. Really cool board where you can sort of take out pieces of the table and it creates a river or a marsh. So Andy's done a really nice job there, and yeah, we'll get on to the deployment. Right then, so this is the left flank of deployment. You can see Andy at the top there, just he's basically just measuring up how far he wants to vanguard those hex race at the top. That tower is just a normal building. We rolled up a building there and we popped that watchtower down. At the bottom, sort of next to the Pegasus Paladin, you can see there's a big marsh. But yeah, so he's got 5 hex race at the top. Don't think there was a hell wraith in there. There's 9 question knights for me on the left. Full command. We went blind with magical stuff. Just you can find out if you asked, but otherwise we didn't tell each other. There's no banner in there. It's just full command. No magic banner, I mean. Then there's 6 knights errant. They do have full command and the errantry banner, so they'll be testing for their impetuous roll on leadership 5, which is a bit shit, but we'll see how that goes. And then next to them they have a paladin on a royal Pegasus. He's a Grail Knight. He's basically, I've designed him so he's kitted out to go sort of head first into a sort of a caster who's hiding in the back, or a monster. He's got a lance, he's got heroic killing blow, and I think he's got a charm shield and the potion of full hardiness. Charm shield didn't really come into it, obviously, because no shooting from Vampire Counts, but potion of full hardiness gave me an extra attack, and yeah, heroic killing blow. So yeah, he's kitted out for that. In the middle you can see at the top he's got a unit of, top left he's got a unit of 14 I think it was, Black Knights with a White King BSB in there. I asked and did have the Banner of the Barrows, or Banner of Barrows, on that unit, so they're getting, I think it's +1 to hit, which is pretty nasty if they get into combat with the killing blow as well. Next to that was a Wizard's Tower, the middle piece at the back. That's a Wizard's Tower given Lawmaster, which is quite nice if you get within 6. And then the throne, the Mage-Wrath throne's an Altar of Cain, granting out Frenzy, I think. Then there's the Watchtower in the middle and a Haunted Mansion, which we forgot the roll for the D6 Strength 1 hits the whole game, so but it didn't really matter. Then next to the Wizard's Tower, he's got another unit of 5 hex rays and then a unit of 2 spirit hosts. So yeah, that's Andy's at the top, and then down at the bottom you've got 12 Knights of the Realm, full command, and I think the Banner of Eternal Flame on them. And then in the middle you've got my Lord bunker. So you've got a Lord in there who's kitted out really for challenges, but he does at least have a magic weapon. You've got a BSB with I think it was a 1-up rerollable, and then you've got a paladin who I think maybe kitted out for Joust, I think maybe. Then you've got a level 4 prophetess who rolled up absolute optimal spells, Throne of Vines, Flesh to Stone, Dwellers and Regrowth, in a unit of 8 Knights of the Realm with the Standard of Discipline, so my lord's giving out that Leadership 10 buff. And then you've got your big bus of 48 men at arms with full command, and a level 1 Damsel on Beasts with the prayer icon and Wisson's Wildform. Over on the right side we've got, so you can see the Haunted Mansion up the top there. You've got a river that ends at the Watchtower with a bridge on it, and then you've just got a simple 2-up cottage. So that's the terrain. Oh, and there's a wood at the top right corner, but it just plays no just does nothing this game, obviously. So for Andy, he's got a unit, I think it was about 30 ghouls with a level 2 necromancer who rolled up Invocation and Curse of Years, I think that one had. A level 2 on Corpse Cart with Invocation and I want to say Hellish Vigour. And then the skeletons at the back, I think they're about 30, 35, with a Vampire Lord who's a level 2 blender with Invocation and Van Hell's Dance. And then 2 hordes of about 30 zombies in the front as sort of just massive roadblocks. I've then got a trebuchet at the bottom and 12 peasant bowmen with braziers in the cottage. So vanguards and the sort of movement on the left. You've seen the hex rates go up a little bit. I then vanguarded my paladin on the Pegasus just over there on the left side. Maybe I could have just put him in front of the Knights Errant to stop them testing for Impetuous, but I didn't think about that. And then you've got Black Knights have moved up a bit, and the Hexraves have moved into the swamp. So they don't take dangerous terrain for moving into the swamp or marsh, but it's a misreaved swamp, so it drags X amount down to their doom, and he rolled two died for that. Whether they should be rolling that because they've got Ethereal, I don't know, but I don't know whether they're magical attacks or whether it counts as dangerous terrain, I'm not sure. But we just agreed on that there and then. So yeah, we'll move on. So yeah, this is just a little shot of my peasant bowman musician looking out the window at a horde of shambling dead things coming towards him, so I'm sure he'll have a great time. So with my movement phase with the charges, after obviously Andy's just moved up his whole army pretty much, my Knights Errant had to test for Impetuous and on a Leadership 5 because of the entry banner. They failed obviously, but they did need an 11 to get into the Hex Raid, so wasn't very likely. Lo and behold, I rolled a boxcar on my first charge of the game, so they went flying in. Obviously the Paladin, because he was a Grail Knight, magical attacks, I had to send him in as well. Drank the potion of full hardness for 4 attacks. So yeah, they're going in against the Hex Rays. Hopefully I can do enough and survive enough to just crumble them outright. But yeah, we'll see. So this is the state of play at the end of turn 1. Not much happened magic wise, a little bit of invocation, a little bit of, I think I'd stop Van Hell's because I didn't want him moving up anymore and getting close to the Watchtower, so I let him get one of his invocations off, I think. You can see that I did enough wounds to crumble. I did 4 wounds with 4 attacks with my Grail Paladin, so yeah, and then only lost 1 Knight Errant in return, so managed to crumble the Hex Wraith that was left and reform. So I'm looking for a flank charge into the Black Knights. Obviously I'm thinking Andy's either just going to move really far forward or just reform. So yeah, I'm just hoping for some nice combo charges and be able to just smash through the left flank completely, really. He's got a decision to make with the hex race at the bottom. I think he's just gonna, at this point, we kind of discussed it and we said that there's no point moving because you can only move 8 inches into it. You might as well try and get the charge off against one of the night buses. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So here you can see that obviously the hex rays at the bottom of the screen have gone. They've made their charge into the Knights of the Realm, not the one with the characters in. So they're now locked in there. There's nothing I can do to hurt them except static combat res. So I'm hoping I just make enough ward saves against the attacks to just manage to crumble them over time. At the top you can see Andy was tossing and turning over to whether to just move back or go forward or just reform. Decided reform would be the best idea, so you can put everything in the front at least and limit attacks from one of the units. So yeah, he's sat there, he's waiting for to take the charge and hoping that he can just with enough killing blow attacks just take out quite a few knights when I do charge in. So we'll see. So yeah, in the centre you can see, like I said, not much really happened magic wise. You can see my Flesh to Stones up from last turn, Throne of Vines is up. So yeah, at least I've got that protecting me against the Hexray Strength 5. They'll be wounded on 4s, but then all I've got is my 5 up ward save against it. Moved up my men at arms, but Andy had moved his Spirit Host into the tower. Really good move, I thought, because I've only got 2 things in the entire army that can hurt them, especially in a tower where you don't get static combat res. So I've got to either take them out with my Lord or my Grail Paladin on the Pegasus, otherwise they're not going anywhere. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So this is after Andy's magic phase. Well, yeah, pretty much after Andy's magic phase, before it all went a bit crazy. So he gets a decent dice roll. I think he had about 8 or 9 in his pool, and he went 5 dice on Van Hels, I think it was. Miscast, so he's moved everything up. The zombies have gone into the river. It's a river of light, so it was perfect for me, and both units got hit with banishment. So that's against Undead, obviously that's 3d6 strength 4, so that did quite a lot of damage, and then you'll see exactly what happens to the rest of his army due to his miscast. Kaboom! So he rolls a 3 on his miscast. So Dimensional Cascade. Some ghouls die, some skeletons die, wound goes off the corpse cart, Necromancer on foot passes the lookout sir, the Vampire Lord takes his wound, fails his ward save, and then Andy rolled a 1 I think on the sucked into the warp roll. So Vampire Lord disappears. Nothing really going for Andy, to be fair. So yeah, at the end of this turn everything's going to crumble. So yeah, here you can see the post crumbling basically. Those dice, those d20s aren't how many bodies he's got to add on, it's how many bodies he's got to take off the unit. So you can see it's getting a bit chaotic for Andy at this point. The Necromancer on the corpse cart fails his crumbling basically, and then he just dies. Ghouls do alright a bit, skeletons don't do too good. One of the zombie units does alright actually, it loses about 3. One unit loses a fair few. You'll see in a set one of the Spirit Hosts goes down, but the Black Knights are fine because they've got the White King, and it saves me at the bottom as well against the Knights of the Realm. The Hex Race go bye-bye as well. So yeah, very, very lucky on my part. I've not got a Vampire Lord to deal with. Nothing can march in the army anymore. Yeah, it's helped me out in the Watchtower by getting rid of one of the Spirit Hosts. So yeah, all going my way at the moment. Here you can see the Spirit Host is gone, or one of them at least, and the Black Knights are still there, and the Hex Race at the bottom have gone. So yeah, this is pretty much post crumbling, going into my turn 2. Apologies on my turn 2, I didn't take any photos. You'll see in a sec what happened on the left. On the right, my damsel blew her brains out basically. She cast Wissons, got it off on a miscast, and then got rid of her wizard level. So now she's just rocking around with a prayer icon. But she didn't hurt herself or any of the men at arms. So to be honest, I'm fine with that, especially with the way the game's going in my favour. The men at arms have moved round to put it so that if the zombies charge in, they're not going to get a great deal of attacks. It's going to protect my damsel. So yeah, I'm using the terrain to the best of my advantage really. So here you can see at the top left, my units basically just blew through the Black Knights and the White King. My Paladin got into contact with the White King and killed him with heroic killing blow. And then I did enough wounds to crumble. I think I didn't lose any in response, so really good. I didn't really know what to do with the Errants and the Paladin at this point. Thought about going around the back, but yeah, the Question Knights just reformed to cut through the middle really. Moved my 2 Knight buses at the bottom up. I should have thought about this more. I should have just put my Lord into the tower really to try and get rid of the Spirit Hosts, but I just wasn't thinking strategically enough there. You can see that the zombies have charged into the men at arms now, so this is just going to be a ground and pound really, until ideally they crumble or I break. Here you can see that the right horde of zombies have charged into the peasants in the cottage. I didn't flee obviously because you can't from a building, but yeah, I just got beaten. You can see I don't even know if I lost any, to be honest. I think I just lost through static combat res, and yeah, they legged it. They rolled 12 to get off the board, so yeah, they're gone. They're no longer in it. So yeah, no more bowmen. Right, so here you can see the zombies at the bottom have walked out of the little house. In hindsight, Andy said he should have just targeted the trebuchet straight away rather than trying to go into the flank of the men at arms, but that it was too late really. I said he could change it and he could just reform them so that they can go into the trebuchet if he wanted, but he was being a gentleman and said no. So yeah, they're looking to go into the flank of the men at arms. I've reformed my Lord bus so that I can finally try and just take the tower with the Lord. Nothing else is going to be able to do anything, it's just him. Obviously he'll lose his bonus, but I think he'll still have like a 3-up rerollable save. So still pretty hard. Question Knights have tried to come along through the middle, along with the Knight Errant and the Pegasus. You can see at the top he's flying around to maybe do something in the late game, and I'm not really sure what I'm doing with the bottom Knights around, to be honest, but yeah, so yeah, we'll just we'll move on. So it's a bit of a hot mess now in the middle. You can see the Question Knights have made a charge into the ghouls. I'm basically just going in to try and kill the Necromancer, to be honest, and then I can get everything to crumble and hopefully get rid of the Spirit Hosts. Because yeah, the Necromancer reformed to that corner so we could get a Curse of Years off, but the Curse of Years didn't really do anything. What would the ward save plus magic resistance from the Prophetess? I think yeah, it's a 4-up ward, so it didn't do anything. You can see the zombies are just slowly getting mulched away by the men at arms, which is pretty good for me. And my Pegasus has moved up to maybe charge into what's left of the skeletons. So yes, it's definitely all going my way at the moment. Miscast. Yep, another one. I think there were 4 in the game, and we didn't roll 6 dice at any point as well. So I rolled 3 dice for Flesh to Stone and miscast. So this is just to really emphasise on how everything's going my way, to be honest, because miscasts hurt Bretonnians so much. All of them do big damage to night buses, whether it's base contact, templates. But I rolled the magical feedback one, so it was only the wizards, and didn't take any wounds. So yeah, it was pretty good for me, to be honest. So just to add insult to injury for Andy, my trebuchet, which had missed every single time in the game so far, even when he's all bunched up, decided to roll a direct hit on his unit of sort of 15 skeletons. So yeah, you'll see what happens to them. Splat. So just 3 left now. So yeah, I don't think they'll be lasting much longer. Here you can see my men at arms have reformed after crumbling the rest of the zombies to face the next zombie threat, along with the night bus, who's just done nothing all game. Both night buses really did nothing all game. But yeah, so they're facing them off. Here you can see the pile of garbage is getting all the more hotter. I'm still trying to get rid of that bloody spirit host. My lord's just whiffing all of his attacks, to be honest. He's just not doing anything. Not taking any damage, but not doing any damage. So at the moment, Andy's actually winning the game. The ghouls are doing quite a good job against the questing knights. I've lost a few, I've regrew a few with magic. But I do believe I've got rid of the necromancer at this point, so the game should be mine now because everything should start to crumble. Yeah, here you can see that the spirit host has crumbled away. I didn't actually kill it, it just crumbled away. The zombies at the bottom are getting beaten up by the men at arms, and the ghouls have started to really take a pounding from the crumbling, to be honest. The questing knights are doing a bit, but they're also getting hit quite a bit as well. He was doing a lot of damage with ghouls. They are quite a good unit if you can run them in a horde. They just need a bit of a buff, maybe from a mortis engine we were saying in the future, because yeah, he was getting a lot of attacks and he was rolling a hell of a lot of poison. So yeah, they were doing quite a good job actually. So yeah, here you can see everything's crumbled. There's no dead things left on the board. So yeah, this was a pretty convincing win for the Bretonnians. I thought it'd be a lot more difficult than that Watchtower against vampire counts, but when you blow up your lord in the second turn or third turn, I can't remember, I think it might have even been the second turn, you're really asking a lot. Nothing can march, you've taken a huge hit from crumbling, you blew out one of your other wizards, so you've just got a level 2 against a level 4. So it was a bit of an uphill battle from then for Andy. Yeah, I thought the spirit host into the tower was a bit of a masterstroke really, because it was just without crumbling. If all his wizards had stayed alive, I don't know if I'd have got them out, to be honest. My lord was just hitting like Stevie Wonder, so yeah. But yeah, it was a great game. Andy, as ever, is incredibly gracious in defeat, especially when you take the kind of roles he's had to endure for that game. So yeah, I'll be playing him again pretty soon, so hopefully we might even video a game, we'll see. But yeah, so it was really good. And here you can see the losses on my side. The peasant bowmen legged it, so they lived to fight another day. 1 man at arms died, 1 knight errant, and 6 questing knights. So yeah, it was insane, to be honest. Yeah, the lady will be pleased. So yeah, mooching around under the game table, found Zacharias the Ever Living. Love this model, so I had to show it off. Andy's painted it really nicely actually as well. I just think the zombie dragon's brilliant. I always liked the bloodlines from 6th edition. So who knows, you might see a homebrew Zacharias rule set for maybe a narrative game, for a bit of revenge against my pompous Bretonnians. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and yeah, I'll see you in the future.